practice earlier this morning and did get some good news as the hold-in may be over for running back James Cook. He returned to practice in full, and quarterback Josh Allen, following practice, spoke on the situation and having Cook back.
You know, as players, we have to separate sometimes the business and the sport. I know both sides thought that what they're doing is the right thing. Obviously, we're very happy to have Jimbo out there today, and I trust in Bean and what he's going to get done, and, you know, we're just very happy that he's out there with us right now.
Deion Dawkins appeared to pick up an injury as he left practice, but ESPN's Elena Getzenberg reports she spoke with Dawkins after practice, and when asked if he was okay, Dawkins smirked and danced away. And we also do have episode 2 of Hard Knocks over on HBO tonight at 9 p.m., and do stay tuned. We'll get more on the Bills. Sal Capaccio joins the show at 4 p.m. Plenty of quarterback news. Packers' Jordan Love underwent a procedure on his thumb. He will be hopefully back next week. No practice again for Rams' Matthew Stafford. The back issues continue to hold him out. And Jets' Tyrod Taylor, he is going to miss the remainder of the preseason. He underwent a knee surgery, but it is not expected to be season-ending. And then in baseball, the Bisons are in action tonight and begin a 12-straight home stand, 6:35, hosting the Iron Pigs. That game's going to be on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Then 3 games getting underway just after 7. The Yankees host the Twins, the Jays have the Cubs in town, and the Mets host the Atlanta Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp.
Hey, put a little. I never get this line out the first time. It's not even good. Hey, put a little bit more in there, cowboy.
And the Bulldog.
What's your degree in?
Kicking ass and taking names.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Do you want to tell your golf story?
Sure, I'll tell my golf story. Ran into a listener. They were a pair of golfers were playing in front of my friend Henrik and myself this morning.
Henrik,
yeah.
Do we all have friends named Henrik? I don't have any. Do I know this guy?
I don't think. No,
Henrik.
I don't think we've played.
You could use a Henrik.
I don't think we've played together with him. Yeah. Anyway, we play a lot on weekdays together, and there was a couple of guys in front of us, and we waited for them a few different times. But nothing arduous, but like a little slow for us. We're pretty quick on these Tuesday and Thursday mornings when we play. But anyway, no big deal. But we had been waiting a little bit, and when we got done on the 6th green, this group, they had obviously long vacated the 6th green because we played in and finished up, and they were waiting for us in the 7th tee box as we were walking up to them. And I thought, boy, it's a heck of a time to ask us if we want to play through. Although I guess they probably wouldn't have known if we played the front second. So we were on our second to last hole of the day. They wouldn't have known that, I guess. So anyway, my thinking was they were asking us if we want to play through. But that wasn't it. It was a listener, a young guy wearing some UB gear, Sam.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls. Asked if he could get a picture. And they said, sure. And so his friend got out of the cart and grabbed his phone, and they took a picture. And as he was walking away, he said, "I'm, big listener. I watch every day." Oh, yeah. Which is new, right? That's only since January. I watch every day, which is nice. And I said, thanks for that.
Throws that diary in the mail right out.
Right. Will you give me a shout out later? And I said, probably not. Which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah. It's truthful.
But they didn't. They didn't. Now he's getting a shout out now. They didn't react. They didn't laugh at that. Like I thought as they walked away, I thought. I said to my friend, I said I was trying to be a little funny there, and I don't think they appreciated the humor. He said, oh no, they were just looking at the picture. They're fine. Don't worry about it.
You think maybe the guy thought you were big timing him?
Yeah, and that's not at all
after taking the picture.
Right, that's not at all what I meant. I just but really, like, why?
People do occasionally ask that.
Why?
The question is why?
Yeah, like why? And like,
what would be the reason?
Right. Other than right now, because I have this little.
If something weird happens.
Yeah. I did say to my friend after they drove off, I'm like, well, now that happened, there's a chance that I'll mention him because I feel a little bad that I may have sort of left him with a sour taste in his mouth after this interaction. Like, he waited, he was, polite and wanted to say hi and mention the show. And I always appreciate that. But I was just trying to be, it's not exactly self-deprecating. I didn't say I'd forget. I was just like, probably not, which I thought, again, was humorous, but I don't know. I don't know if it landed.
You know who would do that? Bad shows.
Right.
Would, if you asked the host of a bad show to mention you, that host would do it.
Yeah.
The host of a bad show would do it.
So why did we just do it?
Well, you really didn't. I mean, there had to be a story. Because there was a story. And you don't even know the guy's name necessarily. You didn't mention any names.
Sam.
Oh, you did?
I said Sam. Yeah, Sam was the gentleman.
There you go.
I didn't catch the name of his partner, the playing partner, but Sam was the guy I got the picture taken.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this as the same thing, but when I was brand new, back in the Rochester days, like brand new, hosting a show alone, just really kind of winging it, there was a day, I don't think it was the first day, but there was a day.
Which is very rigorously scripted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, now. Here's for the viewers. It's been a bell curve in my career. The middle, I wrote a lot out. Now very little, then almost nothing. But I probably would have been one of my first ever days on the air. Somebody called in and made a point, I think, or even maybe they didn't, and they were just calling in to mention their raffle at the Greece Elks Club or something.
So they were using you to promote their event.
Yeah, maybe this is something this person expected me to oblige, just somebody's calling, so that's my world.
Right.
And I should let you say whatever you want. And, I'm like, he's like, can I mention this raffle I got coming up in Greece? Like, no.
No, I'd really rather you don't.
No, you cannot mention it. You already did.
Right.
But no, I'm not going to subject. People aren't tuning in for that.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what they're tuning in for. They don't know either.
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's not to hear you plug some meat raffle.
Right.
No. I mean, we're not going to be swap shop here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We have sponsors, actually.
People are paying for this.
Right.
So
yeah, it's funny. My friend could tell I was feeling a little whatever. I just felt
you were flustered.
Flustered is a good word. I wouldn't say I felt badly, but I wish that had gone better. I wish I had chosen my words differently, I suppose. And he could tell. He said, it feels to me when anybody asks you something like that they're asking for something for free, which is more the case with your thing, right? This guy wanted to promote his meat raffle, and so he's calling you to do that, which is not appropriate. This guy doesn't have anything. There's anything to promote. I mean, he's not. He just wanted me to say hi, but
he wanted you to mention that you met this person.
If you know Sam, who was golfing at Delaware
Park
Park
he's getting
today,
his money's worth.
Please make sure you let him know. Not only did he get mentioned, he led the show.
Right away.
Right.
Well,
do you have any thoughts on this interaction? 803. No.
I know who you didn't meet at the golf course. That was James Cook, because he was working. Back to work.
Right.
Is this it then?
I don't know. I don't want to
call in on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Is this it?
Sam or anyone else wants to call on that. I don't.
He didn't talk.
Yeah, no, I know.
McDermott talked.
I don't, before practice.
And suggested he felt good that Cook would practice, and he was right.
Okay.
We've had different situation has changed, he said. And there he was.
Well, I wonder.
Cook doesn't have his win yet.
I wonder what changed. Is there a deal coming here at some point? Maybe sooner rather than later, which is why he got back on the field. Imminently? I have no idea. The way this thing is gone, I want to throw up my hands and say I'm done trying to read the tea leaves, because the whole thing has just been one decision that I, myself anyway, I don't want to speak for anyone else, I have not seen coming. Right? I might have expected if he was going to take any kind of a work action, that it would be at the beginning of training camp or even at minicamp. But he did not do any of that. He showed up for both of those things on time and did everything that was required of him. And then, 7 or 8 practices into training camp, decided to pull the chute for what amounted to about a week. And here we are. He's back, because I think last Monday was the second day of his hold-in. So I don't know how many practices he missed, because there's a day off in there and a game day, but whatever. He's back, but I don't know. Could that change again tomorrow? I don't want to bet anymore. I think the FanDuel's not taking bets anymore. They're not putting odds on what he's going to do next because I don't think anyone can guess.
Because we're in New York State. That's why.
Right.
Well, I got a tweet yesterday. Maybe you saw that. Maybe you got the same one. Somebody who put potential outcomes, new contract outcomes for Cook in different classifications. If it's only this much money, maybe less than $10 million a year, I'll feel good. If it's a little more than that, I won't like it, but I could live with it. If it's more than that, I'll be upset. Something like that. And he asked me if this is close to how I feel, and I thought about it, and I eventually said yes. And I'll add this thought to that. And we've differed on this. I think it's negligent if there isn't a new contract here before the season at some point. I think it's negligent. I think that I say that not knowing the numbers, like what we've never known what the two sides are offering each other. And so I guess there's some possibility that Cook is looking for record money or close to it, and the Bills are just not going to do that. But I think it would sound different. It sounds very pleasant. All these constant communication, and we love them. It's all sounded very pleasant. So, and then there's business, the business side of it. But I just don't feel great about this player going to week one on the current deal. I just feel like he's disgruntled at that point. And I just don't think I want to risk that. I think the cost is probably minimal enough, easy for someone to say, especially when they don't know. But I think it should be reasonable enough to get yourself out of any such concern. And it's unusual that the Bills have, as we've all said many times, had this situation last this long. Because most of their guys, and not all of them I think have been great ideas, but they've either we're done with you, Jordan Poyer, we're done with you, that's it. Or you have, Knox, maybe quintessentially that's a few years ago now, but the Bernards and the Benfords, guys that all right, well, we want you, you're a core piece, and here's real money. And I think there's room there in between those things where they might not think of Cook as that. He's good, but the idea that he needs to get some sort of a last contract here or something like that,
right?
That doesn't have to be the move. But I don't like the feeling that this just stays this way until the season starts.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. I don't know. Without knowing, you said it. I mean, you used the word negligent and then said maybe that's a tough way to put it, not knowing the numbers. So I wouldn't want to say it's definitely not optimal, I think, to have, that's a softer way of saying a similar thing, I think. Because potentially, he could be a disgruntled player, and that could even spill over. Who knows? So I think you want to worry. You should be worried about that. I think it would be negligent if the Bills were belligerent about it and just not willing to go past some number that is inconceivably low to me, something below $10 million or something. I think that might be negligent if that's how they were negotiating, because the market is always changing. I mean, I'm not crazy about paying any running back, frankly, especially one that isn't even on the field 50% of the time for this team, but keep everything in line and everyone moving forward, and, him sort of in line with his same draft class teammates who all got their deals done. It would feel better if something was done. But I've never felt like I needed it to happen, because what I don't know is how married to the $15 million idea he is. And whether or not he's getting maybe what I would consider to be bad advice on that matter, that he warrants that kind of money despite the playing time limitations that are in place. Now, he can say all he wants, that he wants to do all the other things that would get him up closer to maybe 70% of a snap share, third down, pass blocking, reliable in that role. But The Bills do not need him to do that. They need him to be healthy, playing the downs in the way they're using him, and that's optimal for them, and I care more about them than I do about him. So I want their running back room to function the way it has. I don't want him elevated because he got a big raise, because I don't think that would be smart. I mean, he could get more wear and tear and maybe get hurt and not be available, and that's not good for the Bills.
Well, that's all I think. That all should be off the table. Like what the team wants to do with a player. I guess you can think of some exceptions maybe, but I think generally how the team wants to use a player is going to be that, right? Like players all the time will want to have a different role or be used differently, but they just don't get that because they're asking for it. So I feel like that's backwards. That the contract you might be able to conceive of as sort of reasonable for both sides shouldn't have to mean anything to how they use the player. You could look at it that way. That's what you're laying out. You could look at it that way. But if I'm the Bills, I'm not thinking about that really at all. I just got 18 touchdowns out of this guy this way and set the franchise record for points. That has value to me, and there's no real good reason why I should be do that differently. Plus, he's a year older, and you're talking about multiple playoff games every year. I don't need to up his workload. And I think I can pay him – I should be able to pay him a number he'll take, this is my opinion, without promising or planning to do anything like that.
Right. Well, then I think my biggest problem then is probably what his ask still is. And without knowing who's where, I don't know how low the Bills are or how high he is. We have a guess at how high he is because of the $15 million tweet from, this months ago now. I don't know. The market even changed since then. Maybe that's even gone up for him. I don't know. So I don't want to just blindly defend the Bills because, again, I don't know what their number is either. It's starting to feel a little bit to me. I just said a few minutes ago now, I don't want to guess anymore because it's just been so hard to forecast. But I wonder if the only thing that is keeping this thing on the tracks is that the Bills don't feel threatened because he keeps sort of giving in. And so if someone keeps giving in, I mean, what could have happened today if he doesn't have a new contract in place? I mean, he could have continued his hold-in. He could have gotten on the field and participated. Or he could have done what Trey Hendrickson did at the start of Bengals camp and gone to Florida.
Get in your car.
Like, you know what? I'm not satisfied with how this is going, and I want to up the pressure, and I'm gonna drive. I'm gone.
Well, this all is why, and maybe this is redundant or self-evident, but this all is why I'm sort of taking the position I am about negligence, because it's just not, to me, conceivable that they're super far apart by the evidence, by the fact that he's around and now even practicing again. Like, that just does not suggest Micah Parsons or Hendrickson. And Hendrickson's there now, right?
Yeah.
But demanding trades and things like this, it doesn't look like that or smell like that. Mm-hmm. So if I'm right, then I think I can stand on this square, which is, all right, well, just do it.
Just get it done.
Just do something.
Right.
If he's way up there, if he wants top of the market, then he can go. He can get in his car. And it would be reported differently. It would look different, I think. I mean, if not, then it's even just more bizarre. If they're way far apart, what's he doing here? If he's so disgruntled by his contract and the Bills aren't anywhere close to what he wants, what's he doing here?
Right.
Like, that just doesn't make sense. That doesn't seem logical.
Yeah,
to me.
It does feel to me like him getting on the field. The best bet right now would be that they're close to getting something done. I think otherwise, why go get on the field again?
Yes.
But that's how we started here, right? I mean, that's what minicamp and training camp starting out was I'm here, I'm a good guy, I don't want to be negative to the team. We're trying to win a Super Bowl, and I'm important, so I'm here, I'm going to do my work. And, then a week and a half or 2 weeks in, it's no, I'm going to, now it's time for a job action. I'm not doing this anymore. And that lasted, again, a little less than a week, and here we are. He's back on the field. I have to think there's something coming, but I've been wrong at every turn here with what he's done, the choices he's made. So what maybe it seems like it should mean might not be what it means at all. I really don't know anymore. I'm glad he's participating. I'm glad he hasn't gotten in his car and gone to Florida or Texas or anywhere else. Because despite my not wanting to go too far on a new contract for him, the Bills are better with him here, I think. I mean, I don't know how much it changes if he's not, but he was of pretty large value to them last year. All those touchdowns, the breakaway runs, all of it. They want to be a run-heavy team. I think they need their number one running back. So he does have that in his pocket, but again, I don't know how much that really means to the Bills at this point.
We'll talk to Sal at 4 today, Eastern, about this and other matters. Dion Dawkins left practice. No real word on what that was about or how he's doing, but it doesn't sound dire exactly. We'll see. Tyler Bass is still not kicking. It feels a little bit over the top. I feel like I'm a little nuts if I think about like being worried about the kicker. Just feels a little bit too off the deep end to be like that. But because of the kickoff stuff, I am wondering what he's missing. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe he gets out there when he's physically ready and does whatever he does, like it's nothing. But I'm enjoying different theories on kickoffs. Carolina was today's. Maybe this is because of Eric Eager a little bit. I don't know, but I saw that on, I guess it was the Browns game. I watched some of that game, but didn't notice it.
That was Friday night, yeah.
Friday night, that they're doing the line drive kickoffs to inside the 20, and that feels right to me. Like that.
Yep.
Yesterday we talked about this a little bit, and I thought of how because of all your linemen, if that's even the term for it, like everybody else on the field is static.
The coverage teams.
The coverage team, the return team, like they all have to just wait before they can even move until the ball is handled. And that means I don't have to worry about hang time. It doesn't mean anything how long the ball is in the air for.
You don't need time to get your guys down there. They can't go until it hits the ground or someone catches it.
Before all this, that mattered.
Sure.
A high kick to the corner was the best kickoff.
Optimal, yep.
Now it doesn't mean anything. And I'll take a funny bounce if I can get one, or just some sort of scrambling stuff going on over, needing to loft the ball. So it becomes a matter of, again, maybe this is debatable, but I think maybe Sean McDermott, he'll be on with us tomorrow, would speak to it. Or is this giving too much away? I don't know. But like that line drive, Carolina did it twice, at least twice against the Browns, and their guy put it inside the 20. And they got stopped. They're both returns, and the returns went to like the 21 as opposed to the 35.
Right.
For a touchback. So
and and with that line drive, if it does get to the end zone and can't be brought out or goes through the end zone, then it's the 20.
So
if it lands short of the goal line.
I don't know this answer. Is that something that any NFL kicker can just do? Or is that something where, because it's really never been used as a strategy before, Bass would need to sort of learn how to do?
I thought Bass do I want to speculate about how he could have hurt his I've said many times, once that rule was announced, special teams coordinators should be with their kickers, having them practice that kick that you just talked about Carolina doing. If that's optimal, if that's the best result, then you should be working on perfecting that. And that is a slightly different kind. It's like hitting a different golf shot, right? Instead of trying to loft an iron, you're trying to hit a low runner because you got a tree overhanging or whatever. So
it's links kickoffs.
Maybe it's a different swing, and maybe that caused him some discomfort. I don't know. I do think that it's notable that they signed a kicker, but only for the game. They brought a guy here, so they had an actual place kicker, so Ray Davis didn't have to do everything, even though he did kick an extra point in this game on Saturday. They had a kicker here, but I don't believe he's still here. I think they brought him in for the game, which might indicate that they expect Bass to be ready at some point this week because they have another game on Sunday. But I don't know any of that.
He wasn't today.
He wasn't ready today. But I feel like if they were worried about him longer term, they'd have someone that was just here as opposed to just bringing a guy in.
Do you like links kickoff?
Links kickoff works, yes.
Just sort of bump it down there.
Right.
But you got to get it pretty far. You know that shot.
Low runner.
It's a low runner.
Yep.
It's like an 80-yard shot. You mentioned the tree hanging over, and you got to keep it low and then bounce it right into that hill.
Right.
So it just pops up and lands on the green and rolls to the hole.
There it is.
That's the shot.
Yep.
Much easier said than done.
I've hit that shot from under trees and hit it effectively enough. Well, not aim-wise, but hard enough that it did what you just described through a sand trap.
Oh, yeah.
Like, threw a trap up and out. Oh, look at that. Just like I planned it.
Even better. Back to golf.
Look how good I am.
Next, Chris Emma on the Bears, the Bills' opponent here in preseason week 2. As I mentioned, Sal will join us shortly after that, about a half an hour from now. Thanks for listening. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole. It's in so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you.
Between 70% of his balls. You would like to think over the course of practice that we're completing 70% or more. That's hard to just magically arise in a game. So it's a lofty goal, but it's one that we're going to strive for. And so because of that, we're going to use that as our benchmark and kind of work from there.
Bears coach Ben Johnson, more on the Bears in a moment with Chris Emma. Do you have a browser set up or a laptop set up where at the bottom left you have like a little icon that tells you something about what's going on? Like it could be if stocks are up, if the market's up, like it's arrows up, or it's something to do with the weather?
I've got a little. No, I guess nothing.
Okay.
No, I don't. I got a little 91 degrees, mostly sunny. I got that is a cloud. I got sun and one little cloud there.
That's exactly what mine is showing now too, but it changes.
Okay.
And a minute ago, it had the thermometer, which was like light blue. Almost, I don't think I saw icicles, but it was light blue. And I think you would put it this way, that the light blue is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, sure.
Because temperatures are supposed to drop to 84 tomorrow.
Right.
I don't think I need light. I don't know what I would do. Maybe a different color, no color.
Right.
Just a thermometer and an arrow.
Yeah.
But like a tiny arrow because it's not really that significant.
Yeah. Like go from maybe, I don't know, what's like orange to yellow or red to, I don't know.
You got to give me
the blue ain't working for me at
8
all,
degrees cooler
right.
in summer.
It's so hot out.
Chris Emma is with us, 670 The Score, BBM, News Radio 780 as well in Chicago. I used to listen to WBBM for the Blackhawks. When Pat Foley, who might still be doing their games, I don't know. But that was one of those stations when I was a kid that I could get in and listen to, maybe the Leafs and the Blackhawks or something. So legendary station.
Sure. I think my friend Dave Kerner worked there for a long time.
That sounds right.
Chris, do you know Dave? Dave worked here in Buffalo when I first started like 35 years ago.
The governor, Dave Kerner, good man. Yeah, retired a year ago, but he's doing well.
Yeah, good dude. Yeah.
Nice to have you, Chris. Thanks for working with us today. Moved you around our schedule a little bit. I know a few Bears fans, and as far as this upcoming season goes, these guys, they need to be shown. I think maybe the Bears are at a point, and maybe it's long been this way, where you've kind of been through it all, different coaches and draft picks, and just kind of waiting for one of these incarnations to really pop. What's your sense about the level of optimism in Chicago?
Look, they finally got the coach, the guy that they were looking for all these years, and going through all these cycles and missing out on that guy and settling for Matt Nagy or Matt Eberflus or whoever it might be. Like they got Ben Johnson, and this was the most coveted candidate out there. There's so much to love about what he brings to the table, both in terms of offensive innovation and as a leader. And he has struck everybody in that building since coming in, 8 months ago as the hire for the Bears. And I've just really been impressed by this guy. He's got a great presence about him. He's incredibly demanding. He's setting a tone for this team that they've needed. And there's a sense of optimism because of that. Like he's paired up now with a young quarterback in Caleb Williams that It's been choppy, it's been rocky at times, but the hope and the benefit of the doubt is there because of Ben Johnson. So it's the honeymoon period. You know, you're still going through the feel-good times right now. They haven't played a meaningful football game yet, but there's reason to believe that things are on the up and up for the Bears.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that relationship because, you know, I'm not there, obviously, day-to-day covering the Bears, following along with a few different reporters and just national people. There seems like there have been, you mentioned tough love and demanding, there's been some blow-ups. And I wonder is there any concern about Caleb Williams being right for that style of coach?
I mean, yeah, he wants it. It's a perfect match. Caleb Williams all last year, as he went through multiple head coaches and multiple OCs and constant change around, and was just talking about, I want to be coached. I want structure. I want this around me. Like, he truly embraces this. He loves having that kind of relationship. It was like that with Lincoln Riley, who he followed to Oklahoma, then ultimately to USC. Lincoln got on him. Lincoln challenged him while being his biggest fan and supporter. And that's such a paramount part of that quarterback-head coach relationship, is being able to challenge each other, being able to push the envelope and be demanding. The head coach in particular, obviously, toward the quarterback. And like Caleb's talked about these moments where he sees something in practice and he thinks he's right, he goes back in the film. Turns out Ben was right. I mean, there's things like that where Ben Johnson is holding him accountable, and Caleb truly likes that. That's what he's coveted and been striving for all along. Now, they've been going through this training camp now where Ben is really pushing him. Like, he's really getting on it. The term used is like making him drink through the fire hose, and you see the struggles because of that. He's just not been his best form out there yet, but that's kind of to be expected. This offense is complicated. They're installing on the fly. There's been a lot that's been going on behind the scenes in these practices, and Caleb's looked overwhelmed at times. I think at some point, possibly soon, it's going to settle in, and you're going to see the kind of quarterback you expected to see.
With Chris Emma in Chicago, so much attention on the Bears, and it makes sense why. Johnson has come off, we're kind of saying this, I mean, Johnson has come off as, for lack of a better term, kind of a hard ass, I think, so far
Yep.
with his young guys. I wonder, and I'm not trying to insinuate a certain answer to this question, I wonder if it's genuine. Like, this can be what we think the quarterback needs, what we think, I mean, a lot of good young talent on that offense. All of it, needs, change the culture and all that kind of stuff. But it better be really him, I think, Chris. And maybe it is.
Yeah, that's a great point. It has to be authentic, and it is. Talking with people who were with Ben Johnson in Detroit in past stops as the Bears were kind of going through this process, that was what I was curious about. Is I heard, this is a guy who, for lack of a better term, can be temperamental at times. And I asked, players who have been around him, is it a problem? No, this is exactly this is holding people accountable. This is what the Bears needed. Matt Eberflus lost that team midway through last season, and probably even before that, because he would not hold people accountable. I mean, he kept telling this team after horrible loss that it's all right, we're getting better, guys. Stay to the process. And they all were rolling their eyes saying, we're not getting better. You're blowing these games for us. It obviously reached the boiling point that Thanksgiving Day in Detroit where Eberflus's clock management came back to bite them, and this team turned on him. There was no coming back from that. Yeah. But take it to another level, like the Hail Mary fiasco in Washington last year with Tyreek Stevenson. He didn't hold him accountable. There was no moment in front of the room where you said that's completely unacceptable. You make a standard. He lost that team by not holding people's feet to the fire. That's different with Ben Johnson. You mess up in practice stops, and you get yelled at by Ben Johnson. You go back into the film room later as a team, you go over practice, you get yelled at once again. It's right there on film to see. They are coaching players hard. They're getting on them. And it's not just Ben Johnson. It's Antoine Randall, Eric Bieniemy. It's Al Harris. It's guys on this coaching staff who are very similar in terms of that makeup with Ben Johnson. They're very like-minded, and they are very demanding on these players. And they've all kind of come to know that it's totally different now from what it was a year ago with Matt Eberflus.
How are the skill positions coming along here? I was had a big crush on Odunze last year in the draft process, and like a lot of Bears offensive players, like last year, did not go the way that he would have wanted. But now Luther Burden is there. You've still got DJ Moore. Like it's a nice looking group here. Do you think that they have what it should take to be like a high end offense coming out of the box this year?
Not coming out of the box. I think it's going to be choppy for a bit. I think you're going to see the continued growing pains because this is a very complicated offense. And, like, Ben's building this completely different from what he had in Detroit. This isn't, let's install the Lions offense. Let's not simplify this or dumb it down. They're going all in. They are putting everything they can to install this offense to the liking of Ben Johnson. If you're not catching up, if you're not lining up properly, you're just not going to be a part of it. You're not going to have a high role within this thing. You've seen the struggles on display at times. Yesterday's practice was held only for really the starters. The guys didn't play in the preseason game on Sunday. Caleb was off his game. We've seen moments where there's pre-snap stuff in these practices, and it's not quite clicking yet. And the way I've described it, it obviously starts at the quarterback position with Caleb, but it's Case Keenum, who's a 14-year veteran as well, and Tyson Bagent, who has a lot of reps under his belt. It's like driving a car off the lot for the first time. You're still kind of just figuring out your turn radius and what kind of giddy-up you get out of 0 to gas. Like, you're just figuring out every little detail. It takes a couple days or weeks, and ultimately it just becomes your car. Like, I think that's what's going to happen with this offense and these quarterbacks, and you're going to see those playmakers shine. You've seen some natural stuff with guys like DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. Colson Loveland, the 10th overall pick, looks fantastic. He just looks different out there in these moments. So the whole operation has just been lacking at times, but it's August 12th right now. I think in the span of a couple weeks, as you get closer to week 1, you're going to see this thing kind of come together. But there's going to be growing pains to start this season. It's not going to be perfect. It might not be pretty right out of the gates, but I'm curious to see where it is as you get closer to midseason and start pushing away.
Recognizing, Chris, room for the growing pains you're talking about, what are the early reviews on the remade interior of the offensive line? Because I've got I think what looks like 3 new starters in the middle of that line.
It was so sorely needed. The Bears built skill positions first instead of the offensive line. And they got some good talent. We just talked about those guys, but they didn't have protection. Your quarterback, Caleb Williams, gets sacked 68 times last year as a rookie. Inexcusable. Completely inexcusable. So they knew what they had to do. I mean, Joe Tooney has a case for a Hall of Fame career when it's all said and done. Drew Dahlman was the top center available. Got him instantly in free agency. Jonah Jackson you acquire through a trade. You got 3 very good starters and significant upgrades from what you had before. Add that with Darnell Wright at right tackle, who's been getting better and better. That's the guy who was picked 10th overall a couple of years ago. And then you got this competition on the left tackle between 3-year starter Braxton Jones and a rookie second-rounder in Ozzie Trapillo. So this line should become a strength in time, and that was a glaring weakness a year ago. Credit to Ryan Poles, credit to the Bears for addressing it, but obviously it took too long to do it.
Chris, do you think DeAndre Swift is like a locked-in, maybe not bell cow, but just like the clear running back of the Chicago Bears? I find that a little puzzling because, on one hand, Johnson had Swift in Detroit, and maybe that's a good sign for Swift. You would tend to think so, that the coach, is they didn't draft anybody. There were plenty of rumors about their wanting to do that, but didn't end up being Genty or any of those other guys up top. So that's one way to look at it. But also, like, Swift has just not been an efficient player. And it's kind of weird to me that they wouldn't have brought in some, better competition than Monangai, I guess.
I mean, they wanted to. And they looked in the free agent market. There wasn't anything out there. They tried in the draft. The Genty market was absurd. They didn't want to jump that high to trade up for him. They wanted Travion Henderson in the second round. He gets snatched right before them.
Right.
They wanted something like a Cam Scatterbo in the 4th round. Gets snatched right before them. Kid out of Virginia Tech as well. Snatched right before. They just kept missing out on their chance to draft a running back. You get Monangai in the 7th round, which maybe he becomes a nice player, but it's a 7th-round pick. You can't bank on anything there. So you're kind of left trusting DeAndre Swift to be your guy. And I think he could have a very strong bounce-back season because of what we just mentioned with the offensive line. The run blocking was a mess last year. DeAndre Swift is the kind of back who needs really big holes to rush through. He needs an offensive line that's going to be doing the things in front of him because he's not somebody who's breaking tackles. He's not somebody who's turning nothing into something. He needs a strong offensive line. And a couple years ago in Philadelphia, he had that. He had Hall of Famers on that offensive line, and he had a career year. So the Bears believe that with this offensive line, DeAndre Swift can really be maximized. It's him or bust right now because there's just not a lot of depth at running back. That still is a position of concern as you look toward the future. And I think in some way, shape, or form next year you're going to be making a move to get an to get a running back. But right now they believe in DeAndre Swift. They think he's going to be improved, and you hope he can take a big step forward.
I want to swing around to the other side of the ball and talk about the defense here a bit, Chris. And if you don't mind, to lead off with what your reviews would be of Tremaine Edmonds so far, a couple seasons into his Bears career. Obviously, a player Bills fans are very familiar with from his time here up until he departed as a free agent. How has Edmonds fit in there? Has he been what you would call a successful signing, or does he leave you wanting more?
He's left people wanting more, and I think it was kind of an awkward fit in hindsight with Matt Eberflus's defense, where he runs a lot of that old school kind of Tampa 2 stuff, and Edmonds, along with T.J. Edwards, were kind of miscast in the wrong places. I think Tremaine Edmonds can have a really good year this season with Dennis Allen's defense. It's much more suited to what he wants. He's got the size and athleticism to really stand out, which obviously everybody in Buffalo knows that. But to be used properly is a big deal, and I think he's going to be used really effectively within Dennis Allen's scheme. Not to mention that defense is much improved. They shored up the defensive line. They've got a stronger pass rush. They're in a much better place now with that defensive identity. That defense looks really good out there right now. I mean, Dolphins were in for practice on Friday at Hallis Hall. Their defense dominated them, and I was not expecting that out there. This group looks really comfortable with what Dennis Allen wants to do, and I think Edmonds has been a big part of that. He had a pick on Tua Tagovailoa in an end zone drill or at a red zone drill. Got him in the end zone and kind of took him down the sidelines, and it was just an example of how his playmaking ability can really shine with this scheme.
That's the ex-Bill in him right there, picking off Tua. Bill's done a lot of that.
Exactly.
Right.
What's your opinion of the joint practices? A common thing now, popular strategy. The Bills will be in Chicago on Thursday, and we'll practice with the Bears on Friday. How did last week go, and do you feel like this is a good venture?
I love them. I absolutely love them. The Bears have done this the last few years with Matt Eberflus's staff. Now they're doing two here with obviously the Bills this past Friday, and this coming Friday, the Dolphins this past Friday. It's just you get so much out of these. The ability to structure them. People make a big debate about the preseason games and the value of that for players. From the coaching standpoint, the ability to structure a practice with two different practices going on at once, with everything you want to maximize and squeeze out of that work, is just it's paramount. It's really important as you go through the process of training camp and the preseason. And a lot of these younger new school coaches like Ben Johnson and probably Sean McDermott to some degree value that more than these preseason games because you structure every scenario. You're able to build out the way you want to practice, and you're able to show some of your own stuff behind closed doors in a way that you can't in a preseason game. So I feel like teams are trying to get in on a preseason games just safely, without showing too much, without getting anybody hurt. It's different in these joint practices. The work has been great. Last Friday with the Dolphins there was not live tackling. Ben Johnson prefers live tackling, so I'm curious if that's the case as they get the Bills in and what Sean McDermott wants to do with that group. The Dolphins were much more beat up. That's just not something that they were looking to do, but there wasn't much for fighting. It was pretty clean for the most part, and it was good work for both sides.
Chris, you mentioned a few times while talking about the offense and Ben Johnson installing all of his schemes and the players adapting, and that maybe it could take some time. It could be a slow start on that side of the ball at least. What's a realistic expectation for this season with that in mind?
I mean, look, this might have to be a defense-led team out of the gates. I'm looking to that opener with the Vikings where you got a young quarterback on the other side in J.J. McCarthy, and you've got two stout defenses with really bright coordinators in Dennis Allen against Brian Flores. That could be a really fun defensive battle in primetime in that Monday nighter. I don't see this offense completely taking off until you get into October. You want to see growth. You would love to see some kind of takeoff from the start and say, man, this is what it's supposed to look like. But I'm sitting here wanting to see these days in training camp where Caleb Williams just shines and he comes out of the gates looking strong and he just kind of takes over some of these practices. And it's just not been there yet. You haven't seen those days where the offense is looking strong and dominant and picking apart the defense. So I can't say with optimism that that's going to happen anytime early in this season. But hey, look, this is deliberate. Ben Johnson knows what he's doing in terms of developing the quarterback. He's drawn to Caleb Williams. He had a bunch of options out there in the job market. He picked the Bears in large part because of Caleb Williams. There's confidence and trust there, and he really is believing in this plan that it's going to maximize both Caleb Williams, the player, and also the person, that he's going to be willing to do this. And nothing I've seen so far says that there's been any setback in this process.
Well, it could be if they can find their footing and even be like a wild card type team, the Bears, man, that division is stacked.
Yeah, I mean, he had 3 playoff teams out of 4 last year, and the other one was the Bears. So you want to take a step back. I'm curious to see how this division does play out because I can't quite get a sense of it. Like, the Lions have been that team in the NFC, but I see a fall-off without the 2 coordinators alongside Dan Campbell. The Vikings have a young quarterback with a roster that's ready to take off. It's up to J.J. McCarthy. And the Packers, I think that's the team to beat right now in the NFC North. I really believe in Jordan Love. I believe in what they have on both sides of the football. They really kind of rebuilt without doing a full-blown teardown. They've just got good young talent across the board. It's very similar to what the Bills have to some degree in terms of the turning over the roster kind of subtly and jumping right back still as a contender. So it's going to be fascinating to watch how the Bears fit into this mix in the North, but it's going to be a really fascinating battle.
Bears are the 4th choice at DraftKings plus 500 to win the NFC North, but that doesn't make them a huge long shot, that price. I mean, Cleveland is plus 3,500 to win the AFC North, so it's looked at as a very competitive division. As Chris said, Bears home to Minnesota Monday night, week 1, the night after the Bills open at home Sunday night against Baltimore. Well, Chris, we won't be making this trip, but the Bills will be, and I hope it's got to be more fun to cover than just like one, you're only your team on the field at practice. This is more interesting than that. Again, thanks for your time today.
I'll look after Sal for you guys. Don't worry. I'll take care of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
All right. Chris Emma from 670 The Score in Chicago. Who are my Bears fans, friends? Have you been sitting there for 20 minutes? Who does he know that likes the Bears? It's 3 guys, and they're all like sort of show-related or fantasy-related.
Is one of them Sam Panayotovich?
Yes. Is he a Bears fan? Yes. He's very cynical about them, and so is Ostrowski.
Yeah, that means you're a fan.
Right. Otherwise, you wouldn't care.
There'd be no cynicism. Yeah, I don't think that's how that works.
And Evan Silva.
Okay.
Because he's in Chicago, and he comes on with us, and he does his podcast, and he's referencing, he listens to sports radio, us and in Chicago, and he just thinks it's hilarious, and that the Bears are a big disappointment. Maybe it's not exactly how he'd put it, but that's how I think of Evan. Yeah, plus 500. You could talk me into including them in one of those division parlay bets. I mean, they're the 4th choice, but it's not seen, like I said, it's not seen as a crazy idea like the Browns would be.
Right. I agree with that. I think it's more live than the Browns.
Has to be. I mean, probably I should find a better comp than the Browns. Who's picking them?
Right. Maybe Miami is a good comp.
Maybe. I'll look that up. Sal is coming up next. Talk about James Cook being back at practice today and more. Deion Dawkins went out. We don't know exactly why. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.
Last night, said everything's all right. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah,
so hot.
Right.
That can mean fires.
On high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. To all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole. stopped me on the street last night. Said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take.
The Buffalo Bills got back to practice earlier this morning, and some good news is the hold-in may be over with running back James Cook as he returned to practice in full earlier this morning. Quarterback Josh Allen, following practice, spoke on that situation and having Cook back.
You know, as players, we have to separate sometimes the business and the sport. I know both sides thought that what they're doing is the right thing. Obviously, we're very happy to have Jimbo out there today, and I trust in Bean and what he's going to get done. And, you know, we're just very happy that he's out there with us right now.
Bills left tackle Deion Dawkins appeared to pick up an injury as he left practice early today, but ESPN's Elena Getzenberg reports that she spoke with Dawkins after practice, and when asked if he was okay, Dawkins smirked and danced away. We also have episode 2 of Hard Knocks. That's going to be on HBO tonight at 9, and we'll get more on the Bills. Sal Capaccio does join the show next. Plenty of QB news across the NFL. Packers' Jordan Love underwent a procedure on his thumb. He's hopefully going to be back next week. No practice again for Rams' Matthew Stafford. Back issues continue to hold him out. And Jets' Tyrod Taylor. He is going to miss the remainder of the preseason. He underwent knee surgery. But no worries, it is not expected to be season-ending. And then the Bisons, they're in action tonight and begin a 12-straight game homestand. 6:35 hosting the Iron Pigs. That game's going to be on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Then 3 games getting underway just after 7 o'clock. The Yankees host the Twins, the Jays have the Cubs in town, and the Mets host the Atlanta Braves. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
If you weren't with us yesterday, you missed a very controversial moment. You probably heard about it at work today or something, or on the X. But Bulldog refused to call the James Cook stuff a saga. And I asked politely if today it is. Is it not? Is it now a saga? Is it yet a saga? Went up, I've had conversations with James. The situation has changed. We will see.
Then there he is. I'm going to want Sal to weigh in on this. For me, if I wasn't willing to go saga yesterday, a positive development does not push it to saga status. If
he sits out tomorrow,
if he leaves or just doesn't work out again, like if he sits out, he starts holding in again. Then I think we're at saga status.
All right, Sal, your thoughts?
I had not heard this. This is the first time I'm hearing this. My initial reaction is I would not call it a saga. It was a 1 week bit of drama is what it was so far. Mm-hmm. Now it has a potential to turn into a saga. A saga has to be more long term. The official definition of saga, as I look it up now, is a long story of heroic achievement. Even taking out heroic achievement, is it a long enough story? I don't know.
Damn it fails at every turn. It's not long. Our talking about it has been long, but the thing isn't long.
Yep.
And I don't think heroic achievement is what we've got here. We've got a guy who's got a contract and he doesn't want to play. Well, now he does.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I feel
definitely out.
I feel validated.
So you had to go and look it up. I didn't know you could do that these days. You could find out actual definitions of words.
But I do think, Sal, if it takes another turn where he sits out again, then even though it might not fit the definition you just read, because it's nothing heroic
not
about him
close.
Sitting out again.
Right.
I feel like I'll be comfortable using saga, albeit perhaps inappropriately.
Yeah, I think we need more than what we've had so far for it to be a saga.
Right,
and you're right. Maybe that includes something tomorrow or this week into the season. Like, to me, saga is a little bit too premature. and a little bit too extensive at this point.
So what do you make of, like, what changed here? Like McDermott, like Mike referenced, used the words he used. I think he usually is careful about that. So I doubt any of that was, him just off the cuff. What do you think changed? Is this a positive sign that maybe there's a contract incoming, or like what? How do you read it? It's hard to read.
It's possible, right? Sure, it's possible. I mean, would any of us be stunned after today if something were to happen over the next, 24, 48 hours up until, playing in Chicago Sunday before he steps on the field, if that's the case? No. The read I got was more of just, hey, it's go time. We need him to practice. We've had good conversations, and that's where things have changed. From what I gathered from Sean, I don't think my interpretation was he was not speaking for the organization as far as a contractual status that anything has changed. He was speaking from we've talked and we're now in a spot where we know he's practicing. That's changed, where we didn't know before. Today we know. Like, he's going out there, and he said the information we are getting is he is on track to practice today, I think is what he said, something like that. So to me, it felt like his change was, I'm getting more definitive answers here that he's going to practice today, not I don't know if he's going to or he's not. That's where that changed. Could it be possible that they have some sort of framework for a contract? Sure. I didn't get that sense today, but I wouldn't be stunned if somehow we learned that was the case this week.
So here's my take. The premise I'm working with is that they're close enough because he's around, because everybody talks about how much they love each other, because some of the reporting has said as much. They're close enough for you to think that a deal is, probably coming, or at least maybe coming. That they're not worlds apart. If they're worlds apart, why would he even be here, right? If he was steadfast, he wouldn't necessarily even be here. So I feel like, and have felt, that they're close. And because of that, I think the Bills would be negligent to not get something done with him by week 1 here in the next 3 weeks. Let's go. If I'm working from the starting point that I doubt $15 million is where we're going to end up. Because if the Bills said no to that, I wouldn't blame them. So I think there's probably a reasonable middle, maybe that's kind of wide too, where they should be able to get this done. And Sal, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, maybe you disagree, but I don't like the idea of going into the season with Cook on his original deal, because I feel like maybe he'd be disgruntled, and we're talking about it all the time during the season. And I think that should be pretty easily avoided.
A lot there. Let me start with, I'm not so sure, Mike, that you're a little bit more confident. You're much more confident than me that if he's practicing, that means they're close. I just think that it feels to me like Sean McDermott and the Bills have made it known, you're important and you need to be out practice and you're under contract. And with the fact that James Cook showed up for minicamp and he practiced, and he showed up for training camp and he practiced, I think James is trying to do the right thing by his team. I've always gotten the impression that James is a bit conflicted, to be quite honest, what to do here. To me, it's, I want to be there for my team. I really do. I think that's the right thing to do. He's trying to do everything right as a good teammate and a person under contract. At the same time, he's getting advice on how to do this out of the playbook from the agent, right? Which is, this is how you get more money, and you need to put pressure on them and leverage. I've always been under the impression it's more that he's conflicted, and we're to the point now where, dude, it's go time. Listen to the way Sean McDermott has talked since Saturday after the game about guys not practicing, about injured guys, even today. Now, James isn't injured, but he's in that boat. Look, we need to start practicing. We need to start playing. We have a season around the corner. Are you going to be here or you're not going to be here? Whether you're under contract and healthy or you're injured, I think you're in the same boat. So I'm not so sure, Mike, from what you are, that they're that close. That being said, I think there are indications they could be close. I don't think that has to be the reason why he's practicing, is what I'm saying, right? They could still be in this spot where, look, we're getting closer. We're trying to figure out. I don't think that's the trigger point for James. To me, the trigger point for James is he's trying to be a Buffalo Bill, and he's trying to do things right here by his team. That said, negligent, that's a pretty strong word for me. I mean, is it negligent if the Bills don't sign a guy going to last year of his contract? Lots of guys go into the last year of their contract. Would it be negligent on James Cook's part to also have that, if you don't get it done? Sure, I think you could look at it both ways. I don't know where the numbers are, though. If we knew right now that the Bills were really lowballing him, then sure, I can understand that. If we also knew that James Cook is asking to be amongst the top 3 paid running backs in the league, then I think it's negligent on his part not to do everything, to be there if he goes into the season without a contract. So I don't know how to wash all that.
Yeah, that traces me back to last week's reporting that indicated that they were close, and I thought that was dubious. My at least. And I should say dubious. I believe someone told those reporters that they're close. I think that's the agent's side of things. It's the player's side, because that makes people react like Mike is reacting, right? Using strong words that the Bills aren't doing the right thing here. And like, I don't know. That could be right, but I don't know. I think that where I'm most like you, Sal, is that I think Cook is conflicted. And that in a negotiation, unfortunately, is a weakness, because the business, the team, right, is going to exploit that if they can. And so if Cook feels guilty about not being there for Josh Allen, the MVP, or any of these other teammates of his, that is working against him, and that could be challenging. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. That would explain, to some degree, I don't know, is erratic too strong? The playbook he's working from is not the paint by numbers, hold out, get me a new contract, hold in, get me a new contract playbook that most of us are familiar with, right? I mean, he showed up on time for everything, and then a week and a half into camp started holding out or not practicing. Now he's back, still no new deal. That tells me perhaps that is a guy that is conflicted on what he's trying to get done here.
Yeah, I do agree, though, Mike, that you don't want James Cook going into the season as a disgruntled running back, a disgruntled employee. But I put that on both sides. Like, if you don't want to be disgruntled, you can make this work. And if the Bills don't want to make him disgruntled, then they can make it work. What does that look like, though? Because there's two ways you can play that, which is he's disgruntled, so what does that look like during, the fourth quarter of a game in which, they need him to be a really important player for him, and, he's thinking about his contract and getting hurt. Of course, you don't want to go down that road, right? But at the same time, it could also be motivation, right? Guys go into the last years of their contract all the time. Guys know that, like if he really wants to get paid, he can also say, okay, that's it, I'm done. How many times have we seen the other side where guys have said, I'm not negotiating once I get, to a certain point.
I'm betting on myself.
A lot of times it's
right.
That's right. A lot of times it's other sports, right? Not football, where there's maybe more risk of injury. But it's like, no, I'm going to go out there and I don't want to negotiate during the season. And once I go out there, I'm going to show everybody what I'm worth. And guess what? If it's not going to be here, it's going to be somewhere else, and someone's going to pay me. He could also take that approach. And, he is under contract going into the last year of his deal. So if he wants to do it that way, then all the power to him as well.
We have said it all, I think, about this player. Sal Capaccio on the Wester Hotline. Dion Dawkins left early today. What happened?
Yeah, we were actually in the field house talking with Craig Bohl, who is Josh Allen's former coach at Wyoming. He was there, and we knew he was there, and they said, hey, we're going to make him available to the media. So we all kind of gathered in the field house during the period where we couldn't shoot practice anymore and do video. So, some of the media went in there. And we're gathered around him, and I look over, and I see Dion Dawkins with multiple athletic trainers walking. So I don't know what happened out on the field, but I also asked other media who were out there that they did not see anything specifically happen to Dion out on the field. But he was with multiple trainers walking and talking. He was walking, in his own power. He had his helmet with him. He was carrying it, and you didn't really notice anything, but they were discussing something. And then he walked into the locker room area. We did not see him anymore. After practice, Elena Getzenberg of ESPN.com tweeted out that her and Matt Bove of Channel 7 and Always Game Day and Buffalo Podcast, of course, asked Dion Dawkins if he was doing okay, and he, quote, smirked and then danced away, end quote. So I'm hoping and guessing that could be a good sign.
Yeah, I wonder, when you see a guy walking without there's not a noticeable body part that seems to be hurting, right, you might immediately think maybe head injury, but it is the time of the year here where just the heat could be a factor too. Mm-hmm. So I hope I'm not being reckless and speculating about that, but it wouldn't surprise me if any player felt the heat and needed to take a minute,
Yeah, no doubt, Bulldog. Could be a number of things, right? I mean, it could be something very, very minor. It could be heat related, and obviously it wouldn't be necessarily minor, but you get it. Like, it doesn't have to be something that's going to keep him out any length of time. But when we go out there tomorrow, we'll see if Dion Dawkins is out there tomorrow. There is another practice tomorrow morning as well.
If you have more details about today, please offer them. I wanted to get into a bigger subject, like a different kind of subject, with some trivia attached, if not.
Okay. Okay, I do real quick. Let me just kind of go through everything here. They did get both Cole Bishop and Taylor Rapp back on a limited basis today. Both were in uniform. They did not, from what I see, take part in any team drills. They did some individual stuff, which was good. Sean McDermott was also, again, very kind of adamant about getting guys back and specifically talking about Taylor Rapp missing time here and how important it is to get those two safeties on the same page. Caden Prather did some stuff as well today individually. And then still nothing on a lot of the guys that have been out. Cedric Van Pran Granger, Max Harrison, Khalil Shakir was out of the walking boot. That was good. But Curtis Samuel and Alec Anderson, I did see doing stuff with uniform on with a trainer today. So that was good. The only notable, performance, I would say, today from a lot of that stuff was a lot of what took up the time today. Just kind of noting all that, the injuries, James Cook. I also noticed today and just kind of thought about, I really like the days that Dalton Kincaid is stacking together going back to St. John Fisher. That's what I would say about today.
All right.
That's good.
One other thing I want to ask you about that McDermott mentioned, and you just mentioned the player, Cole Bishop, who was back doing some individual work today. If not team, did you say teamwork too, or was it just individual?
No, I only saw individual for him.
But McDermott sounded pretty, just pretty stern about that. Feel like bracing for DeMar Hamlin to start the opener is what it sounded like. And I don't know, it's early enough here that if he gets back on the field, but McDermott sounds, concerned, I guess, is the word I'd use for him, about Bishop missing as much time as he's missed.
I don't disagree. I think it's go time. It sounds like he's saying we got to get guys back. Listen, this is the second week of the preseason. You're not playing these guys. Cole Bishop is going to be a starter this year. He's not playing that third preseason game most likely, and you need him to play this week. You need him to get out there against Chicago. You need to get him out there Sunday night. And if that's not the case, he better be darn close because you got to start getting him some reps here, some way, shape, or form. This is about reps. This is about playing next to Taylor Rapp, and he's out as well. So I agree. And then with Bishop, it just compounds it because he missed last year and didn't have these valuable reps. So I agree with that. And then the other one on that was Tyler Bass. Bulldog, I did hear you earlier about the kicker. He is still here.
He is still here. Sorry.
Caden Davis is still here. That's okay. But, yeah, you're right. They only signed him for the one day, but he is still here right now. I asked Sean McDermott how does that affect the operation with Tyler Bass and all that? And he said, of course it does, right? But at least you're getting the long snapper and the punter and the holder on the same page with another kicker right now until Tyler Bass is ready. But again, he kind of sounded the same about Tyler Bass as these other guys, which is you got to get back here at some point.
So I have a group of friends from way back that text about the Bills and Sabres every day. I pick my spots, but I'm on the thread. And one of my buddies last night texted about the exclusive club, if you will, Josh Allen is in as a quarterback with X number of playoff starts but no Super Bowl appearances. So I thought, I wonder, I haven't seen this stat before. I thought about asking him. Then I thought instead I would just sort of look this up myself. Since 1966, 57 quarterbacks have at least 4 postseason wins as a starter. How many have not made a Super Bowl out of 57? Just you don't have to nail it, but
how many wins are we talking about?
4.
4 playoff
4 or
wins.
More. How many of the 57 quarterbacks since the merger have as many as 4 playoff wins but no Super Bowl starts?
Okay, so Marino started one. I was going to ask him.
Right.
He started one, right? So he wouldn't be on this list.
I wonder how many playoff wins he has. He's got to have at least 4.
So
Marino,
Josh
right?
Allen, of course.
Yeah.
How many about should there be? I'll tell you, I would have guessed a number that's way higher than the real number.
I want to say a dozen.
Yeah. 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Oh, you're asking how many of these guys? Yeah, I would have guessed quite a few more in double digits.
Same. 57 quarterbacks since the merger have at least 4 playoff wins. Only 6 have not made a Super Bowl. Allen has 7 playoff wins. Nobody has 6. Go ahead.
Lamar Jackson.
Right.
He does not have 4 playoff wins.
He doesn't have 4 playoff wins. That's
really
incredible.
No, the one in Tennessee, Houston, Pittsburgh, I think he has 3.
Wow.
I think he has 3.
Wow.
He's not on my list here. Mm-hmm. Here are the 6 that I found.
Okay.
With 4, Mark Sanchez and Andrew Luck. Sanchez all on the road. Mark Sanchez has as many road playoff wins as the Bills do ever.
And that was in back-to-back years, wasn't it?
Back-to-back years, back-to-back weeks.
Right.
With Rex. Andrew Luck has 4 playoff wins. No Super Bowls. 3 with 5. Mark Brunell, Phillip Rivers, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Danny White. Danny White for Dallas would have been a backup in a Super Bowl or two, but not a starter.
Right.
And then Allen has 7. Easily the most of any quarterback since the merger without making the Super Bowl. I don't know. I think it's an interesting stat. It doesn't tell us anything we really didn't know, Sal. I mean, we all know what the history has been here these last 5 years or so. But I found this to be sort of like a new perspective on what has happened here with this guy and this team in the, if you will, the Mahomes era. Living under the Mahomes, cloud. Really historic stuff for him to have had the career he's had already without an appearance in the Super Bowl, let alone a win.
It is. It's pretty amazing. I mean, we know that in this sport, fair or unfair, that's the legacy that gets attached to you, right? At that position specifically. It's Super Bowl wins and appearances and championships and all that kind of thing. We know that's what, holds a lot of these guys back from being put up on a bigger pedestal. It's what for Jim Kelly and the whole group, but especially Jim as a quarterback. I like to say, though, no one can convince me Dan Marino wasn't one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. The guy made 1 Super Bowl. It was very, very early in his career, his second year. He never even went back to another Super Bowl, right? I mean, it's just, I think it's a bit unfair. And I say that, I think, as a biased person because I grew up in Buffalo and we know what it took to get to the 4 Super Bowls for the Buffalo Bills, and even not having one, what that means. And I think Josh Allen gets unfairly docked or criticized by people until he has it. But that's just the way this is in this sport. That's just the way it is.
Marino, by the way, 8 playoff wins, so easily clears the bar.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, 35. Mahomes is second already with 17. And then Joe Montana. Listen to some of these names at 4. I mean, I was really staring at this last night to make sure I didn't miss anybody who had 4 playoff wins. That's good. But the vast majority made a Super Bowl. Nick Foles, Rich Gannon, Garoppolo, Goff.
Brad Johnson,
correct. Hostetler, Jaworski, Kaepernick, LaMonica, Earl Morrall, Brock Purdy, Matt Ryan, Doug Williams. They all started in Super Bowls. One good run. Yep. I mean, Matt Ryan, what would that have been? 2 wins and then a Super Bowl loss. A shocking Super Bowl.
Right.
And then he would have had to win 2 other playoff games in his career there. Just, I couldn't believe counting these names last night. Yep, Matt Hasselbeck. Yep, Dilfer, Jake Delhomme, Mark Rippon. I mean, all of them. They all made it.
There's a lot that I'm still pretty blown away that we're going into year 8 for these quarterbacks, and Lamar Jackson only has 3 playoff wins. That is stark.
Well, he's not entirely without blame for that.
Right.
I mean, a couple of those games were turnover. The 1 year,
right?
I mean, he had a great day, but for the turnovers, how was the play of Lincoln?
To see, Dan Fouts only has 3 playoff victories. Warren Moon is 3-7 in playoff games. They didn't even get to 4. That's crazy.
And neither of those made a Super Bowl.
That's correct. Yeah, it's wild.
Vince Ferragamo did with his 3.
Yeah, that's right.
He started 1. Boomer, Tony Eason with his 3. I mean, it's just amazing that 7. It's just this perspective is 7 is incredible to not have made it, and he's still not even 30.
Right.
So it's not like this thing is necessarily near the end or whatever. All right, Sal, I thought you'd enjoy that.
I did.
Thanks for your time today.
You got it, guys. Thanks.
That's our dude Sal Capaccio on the West Her Hotline. His appearances are always brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
Craig Morton started 2. 5 playoff wins.
Yeah.
Started 2 Super Bowls.
1 for Dallas, 1 for Denver?
Right.
I don't remember the Dallas one.
Super Bowl 5.
I remember the Denver one I watched. Randy White and Harvey Martin, co-MVPs.
That's right. The beautiful Harvey Martin. Beautiful? Fabulous? What was he? The fabulous Harvey Martin? The beautiful Harvey Martin? What was he? He's one of those.
Ooh, I don't remember. I don't know.
One of my favorite autographs in my collection because he died a long time ago. Seems kind of morbid to say that. I like your autograph more because you're dead. It's really not personal. It's just
you can't get
harder
it.
to get.
You can't get it anymore. Yeah, right.
I have White and Martin on the same helmet, which was the hardest one when I was collecting those to find because I wanted the inscriptions too, but I got it.
Yeah.
So any perspective on that? Like, again, nothing you didn't know here, except
Right.
for the numbers necessarily. Nothing you didn't know, just how remarkable it is and painful it would be that you've had this much success without even an appearance yet. I mean, again, you knew that. But it really is historic stuff here from the Allen Bills. 803-0550, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster. We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life.
The Buffalo Bills got back to work today, practice earlier this morning, and some good news on the Holden front as it may be over for running back James Cook. He did return to practice in full, and quarterback Josh Allen, following practice, spoke on having Cook back.
Just to have him out there and getting those reps and making sure that he's getting ready to go for game one. And again, we had no doubts that he wouldn't be ready, but to be out there with the guys and sweating and battling in practice, I think that's good for the team.
Bills left tackle Deion Dawkins also appeared to pick up an injury. He left practice early, but ESPN's Elena Getzenberg did report that she spoke with Dawkins after practice, and when asked if he was okay, Dawkins smirked and danced away. We also have episode 2 of Hard Knocks over on HBO tonight at 9, and if you missed anything else with practice today, our own Saga Pod Show does have a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. Packers quarterback Jordan Love underwent a procedure on his thumb. He hopefully is going to be back next week. No practice again for Rams starter Matthew Stafford. Back issues continuing to hold him out. And Vikings wide receiver Rondale Moore suffers a season-ending knee injury. That is now the second year in a row. And the Bisons, they're in action tonight. They begin 12 straight home games. 6:35 tonight hosting the Iron Pigs. That game's going to be on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Cole's the one who's missed quite a bit of time, again, just like last year. So, it remains to be seen what he's truly able to do and do for us. And, that's a big position for us, right? So, and then, like I mentioned, numerous times over, the continuity between the two of them, kind of like the Batman and Robin piece. Like, it's just experiencing things together. How did you see it? How did I see it? Being in the film room together, it's huge. And we're getting short on time.
Sean McDermott almost sounding solemn there, talking about injury concerns. Cole Bishop, the subject this time. McDermott will be on with us tomorrow at 4. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. I'm staring at this list of playoff wins by quarterbacks since 1966. 149 quarterbacks, by the way, if you wanted the number of who has at least one. That many guys. Joe Ferguson. That many guys have at least one. Ferguson has one. Shea.
Right, the Jet game. Right.
Case Keenum has one. Nice to hear his name earlier. Case Keenum was out of the league last year, but is a backup in Chicago.
Right.
Former Bill, one of the great Bills. Case Keenum, 2022 season, 2 for 7, 8 yards. He's been on like 8 teams. not including the Bears. He played for the St. Louis Rams.
He's the definition of journeyman.
He is the definition of journeyman. I think you're right. Who is the definition of journeyman? Why, it's Case Keenum, I believe. You have to be around a long time, and you have to have journeys.
You have to have a lot of teams.
I think
5.
Minimum.
I think 5.
This guy meets the standard.
Otherwise, like if you don't get to 5, then you're like, I'm thinking of baseball here. You're a veteran junk baller, basically. You're just a live arm in the bullpen. But you get the 5 teams, journeyman status.
Texans, Rams, Vikings, Broncos, Washington, Browns, Bills, Texans, Bears. If he makes the Bears. There's a highlight of him making a nice touchdown pass against Miami last weekend. Case Keenum.
Oh, good for him.
Good for him. All right, so I want to play with the Allen stat. We have with Sal.
Sure.
We have played with it a little bit. But, and I keep saying this, it doesn't tell you anything you didn't know just sort of in real life. But the perspective maybe adds to, this is really amazing what has happened to the Bills in the last 5 years. I don't know about unprecedented. You hear different frameworks for that. Aaron Schatz came on a couple of weeks ago and said the Bills and the Ravens of the last 5 years are the 2 best teams to not make a Super Bowl like ever. Whatever. What did he say? Something like that.
Yeah. Generally, that's the vibe. I don't remember what other criteria there were there, but yeah, that they are at the top of the list of teams that have been great, but just have not gotten all the way home. So I mean, it's another way to feel, what I think the fan base definitely feels all the time, and I think the organization feels too, like the sense of urgency to get it done. Like the opportunity that they have, there's no denying they have been good enough, great enough to win the Super Bowl. They just have not been able to, and some of that absolutely is in their own control. Some of it is that they have picked a hell of a time to be great because there's someone greater. Like Mahomes is just that much better than Allen, whether it's in the clutch or whatever it is, like these big moments. He's got this coach that's an offensive genius, and that's a leg up from what the Bills are dealing with here. Good luck going and finding Andy Reid out there somewhere, but you're in tough. It's not unlike really what the Colts were dealing with Brady and the Steelers, like other teams that were. I think the Bills are better, have been better consistently. Like those teams had and eventually got their Super Bowls, by the way, Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, both with the Colts and Steelers. But there were also years in there where they were not at that level. The Bills have been right there every year so far since Allen really arrived. They take the rookie season in 19 if you want and put him over there. Once he got to, I'm this good, recognizing that Mahomes did that right out of the box. I mean, he got to the Super Bowl. They didn't win it, but his first year starting, they went.
They lost in the AFC Championship.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
To New England.
Thank you. Okay.
I mean,
I'm glad you were right there.
Should have won.
Sure, but still, they didn't. It was the next year. Okay, still.
But they've been in the AFC Championship every year of his career as a starter.
Right. So he didn't even really need a ramp-up time, although he did get that year. So, Allen, 18 you can throw out, and playoffs every other year since then. Every year since then. I shouldn't say other because that implies that you're missing all the time.
I would challenge you on the Colts.
Yeah?
But not the Steelers.
Okay.
I mean, the Colts had, 2003 forward, 12-4, 12-4, 14-2, 12-4, 13-3, 12-4, 14-2.
Okay, I misremembered then. There is no down year in there. They're a powerhouse and lose to the Patriots most of those times.
Yeah.
I think not exactly.
Yeah,
but so
9 years in a row in the playoffs, 12 out of 13. The one non-playoff team being the 2-14 team that got them luck.
Right, when Manning was hurt. Right.
And the Super Bowl was in their 5th of those seasons. So that was the Bills' last year or even the year before, if you want to count the 19.
There was a lot of that last year leading up to the Bills and Chiefs meeting in the playoffs. Like, look at the synergies here between Brady and Manning, hitting your head on the same doorway, and like, okay, here we go. It's our time now. And yeah, now that's gone by the wayside. Right? I mean, we'll probably still see that again because it's only another year later, but the lining up of those careers isn't going to work anymore. So all right. So it's similar enough to that, but where does it leave you? It leaves you at you're going to have to do this at some point. Your team is great, but the problem is like Baltimore is also going to be really the people doing this job in Baltimore should be saying the same things about their team, and I don't know, to a lesser extent, like the Bengals feel more they're the one of the three that have gotten there. They got to a Super Bowl. Burrow did with the Bengals. But they're like disadvantaged to the extent like they don't seem to have one side of the ball together at all. And so, unless that just randomly changes, which it could, it is defense, right? What have you said for years, right? Learning from Aaron Schatz, it's erratic. So I'm not assuming because the Bengals have been bad and haven't changed a lot that they will still be bad. Like it could just, whatever, the ball could bounce for them or something and they could be middle of the pack on defense instead of terrible. But anyway, like you've got those three guys alone, Jackson, Burrow, Allen, are as good as any crop of quarterbacks you've ever had in one conference. And only one of them has been to the Super Bowl, and none of the three has even won it yet. And they're, Burrow's the earliest in his career of the three, but they've been around already. It's kind of stark. Somebody's turn has got to come up. Like Roethlisberger and like Manning finally got there a time or two.
I think the Ravens' pain is worse than the Bills' pain. Maybe. Why I say that is because of the Bills, they can't even lay claim to, Patrick Mahomes. They've only lost one playoff game to Kansas City.
Right.
They've lost here twice. They've lost to Tennessee. They've lost to Cincinnati, but Jackson missed. They lost to the Chargers when Jackson was a rookie. They've only gotten to Kansas City once. That was at home, and they lost that game. That would have been very painful.
Right.
Similar to the Bills the week before. That was the same season. When the Bills lost at home to Kansas City. That was back-to-back games.
And that was, I think, I would say, I don't know, I'm biased by being a Bills fan, but that performance is meeker than any of the Bills' playoff. Maybe it's comparable to the Bengal playoff loss, but the losses to the Chiefs have been lately, the last three of them. The AFC title game in 20 was kind of a blowout, but they've been punch for punch right there. That game was close, but the Ravens didn't even look like, I don't know. It was just a weird game for them.
Which one?
The loss to Kansas City. Jackson was everything about it. Just you did not get anywhere near their best.
What the Ravens, we've all sort of either known or learned that it's very tough, not even fair at all, to put the Bills' losses on Allen. He's not perfect, but it's very tough to build that argument. Listen. Baltimore against Kansas City, AFC Championship, 3 turnovers to 0. Ravens-Bills last year, 3 turnovers to 0. That's very tough. What are your odds?
Right.
Any team, no matter how good you are,
right.
What are you, 10% to win when you're -3 in the NFL, something like that? I'm guessing. But
it might be worse than that.
And they're both one-score games at -3.
Right.
It might be worse than that. So I think I don't want to listen to – I love Jackson. I don't want to listen to Baltimore – in the same way I would listen to Buffalo talk about how close they've been. I mean, the Ravens have maybe even been a better regular season team than the Bills have in this span. Jackson missed a chunk of games or even twice, right. And Allen has not done that.
They have done a thing the Bills have not done, which is get the 1 seed. They did manage that 2 years ago.
That's right.
They can't lay claim to hitting their head on the Chiefs' ceiling. Baltimore.
That's right.
The Bills can. I mean, that doesn't excuse it. It's the same problem. It's just at a different level because if Allen and the Bills and McDermott could not find a way to handle Jackson and the Ravens twice in the playoffs and weren't even getting these opportunities against Kansas City, then I think then you're more you're more similar to what Baltimore's going through. They can't even get to the level the Bills are at, and the level the Bills are at, nobody wants to be at either. You want to get all the way there, right? I should say nobody wants to be there. I mean, they're achieving great seasons. Both teams are, but they're not getting there, and Baltimore's even falling shorter.
Yeah, the Ravens might think that they have a Chiefs problem, but they have a Bills problem. I mean, the 2 playoff games, they didn't take the ball away once. That's the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Bills have played Kansas City in the playoffs 4 times. They have not intercepted Mahomes once. 9 touchdowns to 0. So Bills have a Chiefs problem. It's exclusively a playoff Chiefs problem, by the way. The Ravens don't have any 4-game winning streak against Kansas City in the regular season. They beat them once in a wild Sunday night game on a CEH fumble late. Like, they're sort of lucky to get it, but great game.
They almost had him in the opener last year, but didn't get it.
They had an overtime loss, too, I think. They've had a couple close losses, but that's kind of what their story is. You know? They beat everybody else, though.
Yep.
Except last year they did lose to the Browns at home and the Raiders. That would even be tough to live with. Why weren't we the 1 seed last year? How did we lose to the Raiders and the Browns? The Browns. Watson beat them. Elijah Moore was huge in the game. Watson beat them in Baltimore last year.
Is that maybe Watson's most recent win?
I think it's his last game. Probably. Because he got hurt after that and he was gone. I think. I'll look that up. I think that's how I remember it. 803-0550, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Get that sponsored. Do we make enough mistakes?
Correction sponsor. Our correction
Do we make enough
sponsor.
mistakes? So the Ravens lost to Cleveland last year. The Browns had Jameis Winston at quarterback 1 week after Watson played a game against the Bengals, and that was it. So the Ravens game was with Winston, and they won. And Winston had big numbers against Baltimore. Current Giant backup, Jameis Winston.
Right. He played a little on Saturday.
He
I think,
did.
didn't he? Yeah. Right.
Here's Joe with us. Hi, Joe.
Hello, how are you?
Good, Joe. Thanks for calling us.
I'm a little concerned about the defense. I watched that preseason game, and I didn't see them stop them once on third down. They didn't make a lot of third downs because they didn't pass well, but I didn't see the defense cause that.
Well, what does it mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no arguing. I think the Giants went 9 of 19 or something on third downs in the game and even converted a couple of fourth downs, so it was bad. My message to you would be that if they'd played great, I would tell you the same thing. Like, if you were calling us today to say, boy, I'm really thrilled. I thought Bosa looked good, which I actually thought he did look good. But, like, Bosa had a sack and this and that, and I'm really, boy, these offseason additions to the defense are great. I would tell you it's the preseason. We just heard Sean McDermott after the game ask directly, how much are you planning, how much do you prepare for this, like on a scale of 1 to 10? And his answer was somewhere between 0 and 1. So I wouldn't put a lot of stock in it, but it wasn't a good performance. There's no question about that. I just don't think it has to mean anything. It probably doesn't mean anything to what their season is going to look like.
Let's hope, right, Joe?
Well, that's hopeful.
Well,
gotta hope so.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Preseason pledge.
Preseason pledge.
Is there a butt coming? It's
Almost.
crazy to be worried about the defense off of
No
Saturday's
sacks.
game.
No
Come
sacks.
on, you cannot
Russell Wilson,
possibly
rookie,
really be worried
DeVito.
about the defense because of Saturday's game. You can be worried about the defense because they played against the Chiefs last January. Okay, there's a bunch of new people. We'll see. It's a new year. Worrying about it from Saturday is not
You're right.
an appropriate response.
It's 3 games in a row where they've been shredded.
Okay, there you go.
Isn't it? Ravens, that was shredding. They just turned the ball over. Kansas City was definitely shredding. And Giants, I mean, they toyed with the Bills, Bulldog. How can you deny that? You're not denying it.
I'm not denying it. I don't give a single, tiny, singular crap about it.
Is there a scenario, though, where their defense is, a step back? And, last year it wasn't like it was dominant at all.
No, they had maybe the worst year overall. I mean, some taking the ball away saved them, really.
Yeah, right.
But ranking-wise, it was maybe the weakest year since they've become a real contender. It would really stun me if they're not the same or better. Worse than last year would be stunning. They really went to work on it. If they're worse on that side of the ball this year, then something went really wrong. I mean, they devoted every premium asset they had to trying to fix it.
It'll look really bad on Bean, if not also McDermott, if their defense is worse than last year. Especially Bean, for all the investment.
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks, Joe. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. We'll be right back. This is WGR.
Following a day off yesterday, the Buffalo Bills got back to practice earlier this morning, and some good news for them. Holding may be over for running back James Cook as he returned to practice in full this morning. Quarterback Josh Allen spoke with the media following practice and had this to say on Cook's return.
Just to have him out there and getting those reps and making sure that he's getting ready to go for game one. And again, we had no doubts that he wouldn't be ready, but to be out there with the guys and sweating and battling in practice, I think that's good for the team.
Bills left tackle Deion Dawkins did leave practice earlier today after picking up an injury, but ESPN's Elena Getzenberg reports she spoke with Dawkins after practice, and when asked if he was okay, Dawkins smiled and danced away. We also are going to have episode 2 of Hard Knocks tonight over on HBO. That'll begin at 9 p.m. Packers quarterback Jordan Love underwent a procedure today on his thumb. He is hopeful to be back next week. No practice again for Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. Back issues continue to hold him out, and Vikings wide receiver Rondale Moore suffers a season-ending knee injury. That is the second year in a row for him. And then in baseball, the Bisons in action tonight. They begin a 12-straight homestand. 6:35 hosting the Iron Pigs. That game is on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Then 3 games getting underway just after 7 o'clock. The Yankees host the Twins. The Jays have the Cubs in town. And the Mets, they host the Atlanta Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp.
This guy's a real jerk.
And the Bulldog.
I'm sort of anal retentive, OCD kind of whack job.
On WGR.
Breaking news. It's not really news. It's not even breaking because it's not even news. What a setup. I went out to my car just now.
What's going on out there?
I turned it on. 100 degrees. Car temperature is very unofficial.
The least official temperature you can find.
That's right. The worst temperature you can find is the one on your car when you start it. Maybe it gets better. It gets more closer to right.
Oh yeah,
when you start it.
I had 103 one day before I came to work last week.
Yeah,
and I know it's not 103 degrees.
Yeah, you feel like it's not even 100 degrees. It's never been 100 degrees in Buffalo.
Maybe not even 90, but we're close a lot of days here recently to that. What are you going out there to start your car for?
I'm just sort of doing something, just going out.
Okay.
Going out, coming back.
All right.
That's all. Just get some steps.
All right.
I got to my car. I'm like, why not just start it? And then I thought, wonder what temperature it is. And I looked and it said 100 degrees. Right. And I turned it off and came back. Not much to it.
That's a move with a remote start that, closer to the end of the show in the winter, sure, fire it up, maybe, get a pre-defrost going, knowing that, there's going to be, still another defrost that has to happen. But, sometimes it takes 2 runs through that. But in the middle of summer, I wouldn't think to, yeah. What do you think, to keep it cool? Because it's probably back to 100 degrees already.
That I didn't think of.
Right?
I didn't think of that.
What's the Q-tip situation out there? No? All right. No, I don't have anything.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Would like to do more. Cook's a story. He's on the field. And if anybody thinks they know what's next, let us know. There's the same room for guessing at how it ends. And today's a good day to be optimistic about that. And I think, Sal didn't agree exactly with the way I was thinking about it, which is fine, because his argument made sense too. But I think the fact that he's on the field and that so much of what you're hearing from the Bills and from Cook and from reporters are optimistic about getting the thing resolved, that it's close enough where I feel like the Bills would be negligent to not finish with Cook. Because I wouldn't want him, for the team's sake, to go to week 1 without a deal. Sal says, and he's not wrong, again, a lot of players go to their last year of their deals. Cook is sort of in a different case, though. He's a different case than most of those guys. You have a lot of guys on 1-year contracts. Bosa is on the only year of his contract, right? So guys who are older it's not as much of a story if they're not renewed. Milano is one right now.
Yes, that's right.
But, you have questions about his durability at this point.
He's older than these guys. I mean, he's a 2017 draft pick. Right?
And then the younger guys often just don't mean as much to your team. Yeah. So there's no real, urgency to do that. Cook is a special case.
The comp that I thought of that could be the closest, but it doesn't really work either because of the money that was there for the player in that final year, is Tremaine Edmonds. We just talked to the guy from Chicago in the first hour of the show, Chris Emma, and I asked him, how's Tremaine Edmonds doing there? And he played out his deal and left, but it was a fifth-year option. He was a first-round pick, so that fifth-year option is a big escalator. He might have been paid $12 million or something in his last year here. I need to go look at the details of his contract. But that fifth-year option for a first-round pick, mid first-round pick, which is what Edmonds was, is a big number. So he did get a bump in the last year. He didn't get the security of a long-term contract and a big signing bonus, but he got, maybe a raise that was close to double what he'd been getting for that final year. And Cook hasn't gotten that. There has been some speculation that could be what ends up happening here, is that they can't agree on the long-range number. Cook is too dug in on what he wants, and the Bills are where they are. And I'm not prepared to assume that it's close, and therefore I'm balking at your continued use of the word negligent, because I just don't know. Without knowing what those parameters are, I'm skeptical about the reporting that characterized the negotiations as close, because I think that's the agent or the player's side putting that out there, and we're all going to consume it, and I think it increases the pressure. For whatever it's worth, if the Bills are paying attention, maybe they're not at all. But it just could get a lot of fans to do what you're doing, which is, if it's close, come on, Bills, just do it. We're trying to win the Super Bowl here. So I'm not ready to assume that it's close. I wonder if they won't just find a way to put some extra stuff on there. Here's some playing time, whatever, threshold, 10 touchdown bonus. So just put some stuff in there. And so he makes a couple, I don't know, maybe even as much as double is what he's getting this year, but it's only for the 1 year, because he doesn't want to commit to less than what he thinks he's worth, potentially on an open market, which he's not to yet. He needs to go through this year to get there. And so you at least get some money in his pocket, and, credit for time served. You've done a good job for us. Maybe you've even exceeded our expectations as we drafted you to be a kind of a swing back pass catcher guy, and you've become the leading rusher on the team, still only playing less than 50% of the time. But still, I think he's already outkicked his coverage for what they were planning for him anyways. So, it would be good business and hopefully avoid him becoming any kind of a headache for them. I don't know exactly what that looks like and what the parameters are for. I just know I've seen that speculated about by people covering the team, that maybe that's like a plan C, right? Plan A is he gets the contract he wants. Plan B is he plays out the year at $5.2 million or whatever he's getting for this year. Plan C is, can we sweeten the pot a little bit for you in 25, and then we'll all get together again. And maybe the Bills, if they see another year from him, if he goes out and smashes with touchdowns like he did last year, and it's not just a 1 year one-off thing, then maybe they're a little more willing, a year from now to go farther. But I don't know. I'm getting really speculative there because he's another year older by then, and I don't know. But just saying, an alternative here is getting him some money some other way, other than a big new deal.
Edmonds is interesting to bring up. With him, as I remember it, I was never excited about the Bills giving him that new contract. And some of that was, or a lot of that was, the position he plays. And that's similar to Cook.
Mm-hmm.
But the lifespan of players at his position is so much enough greater, if it's not massive, enough greater. He got 4 for $72 million from the Bears. He did it.
Right.
And he would have probably thought his last year here that was coming. He could have had an injury or something and lost his mind. There could have been ways where it wasn't. But he probably felt good because, your agent would be able to forecast the market and give you a sense of what you're worth what you should be worth in free agency. And so Edmonds probably had no real worry about getting paid like he did, even if it wasn't going to be here. I don't think that's true of Cook. And that can be debated. But like we've talked about, it's one of the more interesting angles of the whole conversation, I think, is, well, okay, fine. If Cook doesn't get anywhere here and plays out the year knowing that worst case what? He's franchise tagged, that's good money. It's all good money. Or he gets sort of a free agent contract because the Bills don't want to make that investment. How good is it? I mean, it's not as good as Edmonds, and that was a couple of years ago.
Right.
So that's why I've thought with Cook, and we'll see what happens, but $9 million or so, get your guarantees, get your 2 or even 3 years. That kind of number, he will not score 16 rushing touchdowns again. The Bills can even, by the way, if they were to think like this, could prevent him from doing that.
Manage that.
They could block him.
Right.
We don't want to pay on touchdowns.
Give those carries to Ray Davis.
Come over here. Right. So, I mean, I'm not trying to be like that about this. It's just that almost no way does he score a touchdown a game. And so then what? Well, then you were in decline. by that one particular statistic.
Yeah.
Many of his statistics are carbon copies last year versus the year before, or worse. But the touchdowns are so stark.
Right.
So I don't expect him to ever get who? I mean, Barkley's not even close to ever get.
Right. Well, that's all the more reason to not do it, though, to me. Like, if you don't think the open market would get him what he's seeking from the Bills, why should the Bill? I'm not saying the Bill should give him what he wants, right? So you're making a slightly different point, but I feel like making the case to not pay him. Like if his value on the open market is closer to what the Bills would like to lock him up at, maybe, then that's where the Bills should stay, and they should live there. And if James Cook doesn't like it, then he should get more in touch with what the reality of the situation is. I heard Joe Marino a couple weeks ago, I think, or maybe it was just last week. Time just flies by here. It felt like you were gone for a month, and you were gone for 7 shows.
Not to me.
I'll bet. And it felt that way to me when I was gone earlier in July, too. I felt like I was gone a month. I said the same to you when I got back. Joe Marino said, tell him he can go test the market. Go give him permission to seek a trade and go find out what's out there in the marketplace. I'm not naive enough to think that an agent can't figure some of that out as it is right now, but, there are rules about tampering and stuff. So
that's probably also more than the Bills. Like, this is not high noon yet.
Right. They don't want to send him out.
No.
But, the premise is let him go do that so that he can find out that their number is more based in reality. Right. If he were, the scenario is go. I'm not giving you permission to seek a trade because we want to trade you. I want to give you permission to seek a trade so that you can negotiate. Your agent can negotiate a second contract with some other team, and maybe you can find out that it's not going to happen. The numbers are not going to line up the way you think they are. I don't think we'll get to that either, but it was an interesting wrinkle on it. Yeah, I just looked up Edmonds. He made $2 million in 2021. In 2022, on the 5th-year option, 12.7.
Yep,
there's a massive jump. So it's not a good correlation to Cook, but he was
percentage-wise, it's not. It's more, but it's also Cook tripled his salary this year.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He did get a big final year. That
Edmonds is higher than tripled. But then, don't you agree? Like Edmonds would have. What was the bet you would have made on him after that season ended?
Someone's going to give him $15 million a year, and I hope it's not me.
And it was 18,
right,
in Chicago, and that is just not coming for this player. We'll see.
Yep.
32 teams. One of them's the Cowboys. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe somebody does.
Always call Dallas.
A year from now, 1 year older, probably a touchdown regression. I mean, maybe a significant one. Your thing about snap share, why should the Bills look at that any differently than they did? They were super successful playing him 47% of snaps. Why should they want to change that? If not for financial reasons, why should they want to change that? Let's go to Matt here. Hi, Matt.
Hey, guys. I think if Cook Cook just saw Kyron Williams signing for $11 million. His heart must have dropped to the ground because he's in Wonderland right now. If he thinks he gets $50 million after Williams just signed for $11. Williams is just a beast. The guy is more productive than Cook. He plays 87% of the snaps, rushed for almost 1,400 yards, a great third down pass pro back, which Cook is really very questionable at best at. And sometimes it's even a liability at times. But I think there's no possible way that if his agent is telling him, feeding him information, he's getting $15 million, that they're living in reality right now.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
I agree with all of that. I think if I were putting my team on the field, I think Cook is a more talented player, breakaway ability, but Williams does everything, and he's on the field all the time. And that should have value too, and it's representative in that contract. I think the same. I think that contract came in, and I thought, there's no way Cook should get more than that.
I guess. Mike next. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Interesting kind of irony about the touchdowns. I think James Cook could have actually had more than 16 touchdowns last year if, Josh Allen wasn't getting so many from the tush push. I just think, it's kind of interesting to think about it from that point in time. And then a question for you. What would you guys pay if you could guarantee, maybe like Delvin Cook type production out of his brother James for the next 3 years? What would you be willing to pay for that? I agree that $9 to $10 to $11 million per year range is kind of the sweet spot, I think, for that. But I don't know if you can guarantee some higher production. What's that worth to you?
Not much more. I'd have a tough time answering that specific question because I'm going back a few years, salary thresholds change, and I'm not fresh on sort of where he ranked in terms of efficiency. I think of Dalvin Cook as being somebody that somewhat similar to his brother, was knocked a little bit, that the production really, the football card stats didn't tell the whole story when it came to him. I don't think it was bad or anything, but when he got around to, barking about a new contract for himself, he was bad.
He was finished, yeah, just about.
And, good thing your team didn't make that deal with him. Showed up with the Jets there for a minute. That just kind of ended. So what? I mean, look, you could the tush push point is fine. Allen exists, and he still exists, and it's incredible what Cook did in terms of touchdowns last year. It's incredible, and it's not that they were all from well out.
No, he had some long runs where he ran away from people,
but a lot of them weren't. I'm saying, he had 16 rushing touchdowns. 5 were from 17 yards or longer. 3 from the 1, 2 from the 2, 1 from the 3, 1 from the 4, 1 from the 5, 3 from the 6, 1 from the 7, 11, 17, 41, 46, 49, 65. So it's, he was used in tight.
Right.
And he was successful. But, what he offered you was a historic season in terms of touchdowns. And I'm not sure I can process it could have been higher. I mean, a lot of things could have brought it down.
Sure.
But he does play. The fact that Allen is the player he is helps any running back. I mean, that's
of course
huge advantage.
Yeah, especially down there, you're worried. The first guy that's going to have the ball is Allen, and you're worried about him. So, I mean, that plays in his favor for sure.
Thanks, Mike. Here's Tim next. Hi, Tim.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Great.
I disagree with the last caller. I agree with you guys. I don't think Cook could have scored more because of Allen. I think, if I recall correctly, I don't know the exact figure, but it was something like 7 yards was the average length of rushing touchdown for Allen. I don't know if you guys know that figure or not, but
I don't, but I can get it.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was something along those lines. It was about 7 yards per touchdown for Josh Allen rushing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he was poaching from Cook at all. I think it's the opposite. I think Cook was poaching from Allen.
Okay. Thanks. I don't have it yet for his career. Allen, I just did the numbers with Cook's touchdowns. Last year, Allen had what, 12? 13? 12 or 13. And he had one from the 26. That's the Chiefs run.
Right.
One from the 13 in Indianapolis. Then it going down. This time I'll do it that way because that's how I've started. 8, 7, 6, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. -2. Oh, that's the 49ers receiving touchdown. So it's 12 rushing and then 1 receiving last year for Allen.
Right. And he also got credit for a touchdown pass on that. I can't remember how that worked. There was some statistical oddity within that
Yes.
was really screwball. I was going to try to use my calculator on my phone but you went too fast and my fingers are fat and I couldn't do it.
Sorry.
The buttons are too little.
From whom did Josh Allen catch his only regular season touchdown pass? Who threw him the pass?
John Brown.
That's what I would have guessed too. There was a playoff?
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah.
McKenzie.
Okay.
In Arizona. 12 yards. I can't see it.
No, me either. The only thing I can see from that game is the play at the end that should have won it to Diggs and then the Hail Murray.
Short left corner, maybe I'm thinking on the McKenzie play. I don't know. All right, thanks for your calls. 803-0550. What is the next shoe to drop when it comes to James Cook? Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
from Bills practice this morning as the hold-in appears to be over for running back James Cook. He returned to practice in full, but left tackle Deion Dawkins appeared to pick up an injury. He left early. However, ESPN's Alana Getzenberg did report she spoke to Dawkins after practice, and when asked if he was okay, Dawkins smirked and danced away. We also do have episode 2 of Hard Knocks tonight on HBO. That'll get going at 9 p.m. And then for more on practice, Zach Capaccio has a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. Packers quarterback Jordan Love underwent a minor procedure on his thumb. Hopefully he's going to be back by next week. No practice again for Rams QB Matthew Stafford. The back issues continue to be a problem for him and hold him out of practice. And then Vikings wide receiver Rondale Moore suffered a season-ending injury. This is now the second year in a row for him. And then the Bisons, they're in action tonight. It begins a 12-straight homestand, 6:35, hosting the Iron Pigs. That game is over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
I would say so. I would say so that things have changed. And yes, we've had conversations with James, good conversations, as I've mentioned before. The information that we're getting is that he is moving in the direction of practicing today. So, we'll see in a few minutes here, but that's the information we've got. I don't think it's necessary to get into the weeds on it. The most important thing is that he is expected to practice, and I'm rather confident that that's going to happen.
Sean McDermott this morning, and he was right. Cook was on the practice field. Been talking about that again today. Cook, he's the man of the year on this radio station so far, I think.
I miss complaining about the wide receiver core.
Is it the Venn diagram? What's the circles? And the more you're talked about, the bigger your name would be. James Cook would be like, bam!
Yeah.
And then it'd be like Theo Greminger. And Kevin Adams would be up there, 2025. James Cook, pow.
Right.
Kevin Adams right there. Theo. Josh Allen. But we don't spend a lot of time like, oh, how great is Josh Allen? We don't do a lot of that. When I think about him, I usually think we should talk about him pretty much every day, because what is even close to as important to any of this than Allen? Last night and then today, I've been enjoying some of his numbers. Enjoying isn't quite the word for the one we did last hour.
No, right. 7 playoff wins, no Super Bowl appearances.
Right. That since 1966. No one else even has 6. And I think incredibly, we all thought the same earlier, and Sal was a part of it, that to know that 57 quarterbacks have 4 or more playoff wins since 1966, and only 6 of them have not made a Super Bowl as a starter. Mark Sanchez, Andrew Luck, Mark Brunell, Phillip Rivers, Danny White, Allen. 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 7. If he's going to make the Super Bowl this year, he'll get to 9 first at least.
Right. It's not the 9th. Well, sure.
They'll have to win 2 playoff games.
Right. The 9th could get him to the Super Bowl.
At least.
Or a 10th.
That's right.
If they don't get the 1 seed, you would need that 3rd game.
That's right.
In there to make it happen. So, yeah. That's not. Sitting with that is not advisable. I'm not enjoy. I didn't enjoy. I mean, whatever. It's fine. Conversation about them needing to win a Super Bowl because he's great and they've been great. So, I mean, I'm not regretting it or anything, but it's not. No, it's not a feel. It's some version of no coach and quarterback have ever been together 5 years, and not gotten to a Super Bowl during that time and then done it.
That's the Ravens too.
That's the Ravens too now. Although the coach has won the Super Bowl already, so that's a little different there maybe with them.
Maybe.
But still, it feels like it's another version of that. It's another version of come on.
It is another version of come on.
Come on, let's go. We got to do it. It's got to happen.
Allen is 8-1 all time in domes.
Good thing they didn't put a roof on the new stadium.
Yeah, I know, right? It'd be terrible. That's Arizona, right? That would be his one dome loss on that play. Wow. Otherwise, he'd be 9-0 in domes.
Wait a second. Well, He lost in Houston last year.
Houston is a retractable roof.
Okay, right. That's what you were asking me about. Okay. But the roof was closed. It's usually closed. I think it's.
I don't have those splits.
Okay.
He's 3-3 according to Pro Football Reference in games played in stadiums with a retractable roof, which would be what? Houston, he's been there twice. He's 0-2 in that stadium. 0-3 if you count playoffs.
What's the other
rookie year? He got hurt.
Okay, yeah.
They lost that game.
Yeah. One of the other. Do I need to know? Do you know what are the other retractable?
Not right off.
Okay.
Dallas. That's the new stadium by then. He's in the new stadium.
Yeah.
That would be one.
Yeah.
3-3.
That's a retractable roof there?
Yes.
Okay.
Or is it outdoors?
Or just indoors? I don't even know.
I don't know the difference anymore. Like, who's a retractable roof and who's a dome? What's L.A.? He won there.
That is open air. There is no roof. Or there's a roof, but it's not a dome.
It's not a dome.
It's not a dome.
But they can close that roof.
Because but it's hot as hell in there. They can't air condition. It's natural. It's like the concourses are open.
Okay, he's 3-3 in games. This is our place. He's 3-3 in games with the retractable roof stadium. That's going to be one of them. L.A. He's 1-1 in L.A.
I don't think that qualifies as a retractable roof stadium.
All right, well, find me the 6 games. Houston is 2. We're talking regular season only, I think.
Okay, is Indianapolis? Indianapolis has that roof can move.
That roof can move, baby.
That roof moves. He's
1-1
story
there.
Okay.
No, he's 1-0 there. He didn't play the other rookie year game. He's hurt.
Okay.
They lost 37-5.
All right.
But he won there last year. Indy, Houston, 1-2. I think L.A.
I'm balking at L.A., but I don't have a better idea for you, so I don't know.
What's New Orleans?
That's just a dome. That's a dome.
Okay, that's one of his. He's 8-1 in domes. That's one of the 8.
Yeah. Does the Raider thing?
Lions.
The Raider thing has a roof. That's a dome.
Vegas.
That's not retractable. I think that's just a roof.
He's got 1 there. He's got 2 in Detroit.
Does the roof open in Detroit?
No.
Right, that's just
I tried
dome.
once.
Okay, they yelled at you.
It would not open.
That's just a roof.
I kept pushing all the buttons.
Minnesota is just a roof, not retractable. Green Bay, no roof. Washington, no roof.
He's got Minnesota.
Seattle doesn't have a roof. Atlanta is just a fixed. That's not a retractable situation.
But he's never played there.
Okay, well that's out. So I'm just going down the standings if you can't tell. San Francisco, no roof. Chicago, no roof. Carolina, no roof. No, Giants. I don't know where they're coming from. Maybe they qualify LA as a. I
think so.
I always feel like that there's some. It's always differentiated. Like the air temperature can come in, but there's a roof over it. Like the concourses are open, and so the natural temperature, they can't air condition the building, I think, is what the story is with that building.
He's 1-1 in that stadium.
Okay.
He's 0-2 in Houston's stadium, regular season only. Mm-hmm. And I got to find 2 wins. Do we do this? That we haven't found yet. Retractable roof wins.
Maybe Dallas does have a retractable.
Dallas, and that's 1.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving, that's 1. And there's 1 more. Maybe it is Atlanta. I don't know. Is this important?
I want to know. I feel like we're here now.
Okay.
Vegas? No.
We counted Vegas.
Yeah.
It's 1.
Yeah.
He's won there 1 time.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to do with the rest of this. Someone on social media let us know what we're missing if it's obvious. If you care, if you like us at all, or hate us even. I don't even care. You don't have to like me to help me.
That was my yearbook quote.
Right.
He's beaten every NFL team except 2.
Cincinnati?
Nope. They have a win over Cincinnati. Dawson Knox.
Oh, the angry run. They beat Jacksonville last year.
They did. Badly. Who are the 2 teams Josh Allen has not defeated?
Are we counting playoffs too?
We can.
Okay.
But he hasn't beaten anybody in the playoffs. He hasn't also beaten in the regular season.
He hasn't beaten the Eagles.
That's right. It's 1. 0-2 against the Eagles. Although he would have... What's the first one? The second game is that overtime classic.
Right.
What's the other one? Was he the quarterback when they got blown out here?
When Wentz came in here and it was windy, and that might have been his. Yeah.
Okay, that's got to be right.
That might have been it. Who else hasn't he beat?
What's the latest on those chairs, by the way, down the hall?
What chairs down the hall?
The ones I moved around.
I don't know.
To trick you.
I didn't know.
The conference room.
I didn't.
Remember that?
Yeah.
What happened? What's the latest on that room?
It's gutted. There's no furniture in there.
Okay. Well, that takes the pressure off.
Yeah. Zach tells me the roof in Atlanta does open.
Okay.
So there's the
He's never played there.
Okay. Well, then that's out.
This year he'll play there. We think.
They beat Atlanta here with Matt Ryan once, so that's not a team he hasn't beaten.
Right. Who are the 2 teams Josh Allen has not defeated? Philadelphia is 1. So you don't walk down there anymore because it's not even available to walk down there.
I walked down there earlier, but it's just there's nothing in there anymore.
Okay.
There's a little supply closet in there that has some Post-it notes in there if you want any of those. I mean, they seem to be fair game.
Yeah, they're not mine to take.
What is I don't know who this other team is.
Bills.
Oh, Jesus God.
I felt like as soon as I asked that, you're going to want to punch me for this. So I brought up the chairs. I'm thinking, like, this is
I'm glad I gave up.
Together.
I'm glad I gave up. I'm mad I tried as hard as I did. And by tried as hard as I did, I mean, I'm looking at a list of teams. I'm looking at the standings from last year.
You skip right over the Bills.
Go figure. Yeah.
There's not even a joke you can make about some game where he got them beat.
So fill it out.
Yeah. There isn't one. What's the closest game to Allen getting the Bills beat?
He had the ball at the end of the last 2 playoff losses with a chance to score a touchdown to win the game. Sorry. I know. I'm a jerk.
That's the best we can do. Houston playoffs.
So Philadelphia is the only
other.
It's the only team he hasn't beaten.
Right. The last time the Bills beat the Eagles, I think, was Ryan Fitzpatrick against Michael Vick. 2011.
All right.
15 they lost there, 19 they lost here, 23 they lost there. Now this is the 25 they're playing them because that's the additional game. They're not in the they're not playing the NFC East.
Right.
But Philadelphia, first place teams, that's the 17th game, if you will. Week 17.
Right.
Oh, here we go. Pete, you're on WGR. Hi, Pete.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good.
Listen, the other dome game was they played San Francisco and Arizona because there was some kind of wildfire or something in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Correct. Thank you. That's right.
Ding, ding, ding. I was driving in my car and my head was exploding, and this is the first time I've ever called you. I've listened to you guys forever and love your show.
What a beautiful moment
That's my contribution, my friends.
Thank you, Pete.
It's a good one.
That's a great job.
Thank you, Pete.
That's a great job.
The San Francisco Monday night game was played in Arizona. That's the other retractable roof Allen win. Oh, I'm glad for Pete right now.
Me too, because Zach tried with that Atlanta thing, but like you said, he's never played there, so there's the end of that.
I remember 2 things from that game, the Niner game. One insane against his body pass.
Down by the goal line that just went over and just perfectly placed pass.
Yeah, and Shanahan raved about it.
Yeah.
Basically came off as, I had no idea what to do with this guy.
Right.
We had no answer for this guy at all.
It still is one of my favorite throws he's ever made.
Yeah, and the other thing is I had a bet on Ayuk to score the first touchdown, and he did. But it only came after maybe the Bills turned it over at the goal line, and then maybe the 49ers had a touchdown called back or something. I had lost so many times. And then it happened, and I won.
Right.
Ayuk scored the first. I want to look that up to make sure. I believe he scored the first touchdown of that game. So that was a fun moment. And the Bills won anyway, pretty easily. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. This is WGR. It's been a stat head kind of show, or at least for the last while. James Cook, a historic season for the Bills last year, and he's trying to get paid off it. 207 attempts for 16 touchdowns. So I went to StatHead to try to put some perspective on that. And at first, I mistakenly entered 207 attempts or more and 16 touchdowns or more. How many seasons in NFL history have we like that? Carried at least 207 times, rushed for at least 16 touchdowns, 50. And Cook is going to be in both groups because he's at 207.
Right.
They just did greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. 50. He was the 50th player, unless someone else did it last year. Oh, yeah. We had this conversation before. Gibbs did it.
Right.
And Derrick Henry all had 16 touchdowns on more than 207 carries. So there have been 50 such seasons in NFL history. How many have there been 207 carries or fewer?
Right.
And 16 touchdowns?
You're going to tell me 1.
4.
Okay, that's historic.
4. Cook last year, 2020 Alvin Kamara, 187 touches. Very efficient. Didn't get to 1,000 yards.
Touches.
5 yards carry.
Are we carries?
Attempts.
Attempts. Okay.
Thank you.
Rushing attempts. Okay.
It's different. Right. Rushes. Pete Banaszak in 1975 for the Raiders. And Lenny Moore for the 64 Colts. 20 touchdowns.
What year was that Banaszak year?
75. Okay. I love that question.
Sorry, I was just thinking about Mark Van Eegen. You mentioned a Ray. I don't really remember Banaszak, but I remember Mark Van Eegen. Maybe he's after.
No,
or before. Same, maybe.
Same.
Okay, they were backfield mates.
They were. I don't know that story too well. I know who Pete Banaszak is, but 16 rushing touchdowns in a season. The team had 28. Van Eegen had 2. With almost as many yards.
And then he had 16 the next season, like Cook did 23 to 24. Yeah, I'm kidding. I don't really know that. Sorry.
No, he did not, but he had a good career.
He had the hook. He had one of those
Did he?
Yeah, the horn hook. I don't know whatever.
Look how well it did for him.
We got to go.
Chris Emma, our guest from Chicago earlier today. That's coming up here on WGR.